For my final presentation for Art History 166, Visual Arts of East Asia at the University of Kansas, I was tasked to explore an artwork of a Chinese, Japanese, or Korean artist. Hi, my name is Parker Honegger, and I'm an industrial design major looking to pursue furniture design at the University of Kansas. From a list of artists, I began to dive through their collections and works, and I ended up landing on the artist Do Ho Suh, who was born in South Korea in 1962. Do Ho Suh's work spoke to me in comparison to the other works that I looked through of the other artists, as he had great attention to detail. The microwave oven, which was one of his 12 featured artworks of his at the Smithsonian Museum as a piece in the Almost Home exhibit, which is in fact held at the Smithsonian Museum. This also happened to be his first major exhibit on the East Coast. This piece was created in 2015 in New York and was held on display here in the Smithsonian in 2018. Immediately, this exhibit and object drew my attention because of the near reality of the piece. At first, I believed the object to be a see-through microwave, but truly this piece is nothing but a frame and fabric. The attention to details from the screen to the buttons is beautiful. Once I realized the object was not a typical, meaning usable microwave, I discovered the artwork was created from a stainless steel frame with a polyester fabric and sewn fabric to create the illusion of buttons, screens, and depth to the main surface. This life-size piece of artwork is even displayed at eye level and can easily be interpreted as a microwave. The piece measures at 30 inches deep, 36 inches long, and 26 inches tall, which follows along the lines of a real white microwave, if not exactly the LG microwave which he replicated. I also wanted to point out that beyond being a part of the Almost Home exhibit at the Smithsonian Art Museum, the microwave oven by Do Ho Suh is also featured in his collection of his New York apartment, Unit 2, which features his whole apartment from the refrigerator to the front door to the bathroom sink. The microwave oven overall captured my attention because of its absolute spot-on detail. The cutout and draped fabric on the top create imagery of a vent, and again the sewn numbers and buttons are such minute but important details that Do Ho Suh focused on to create such a cohesive piece. Lastly, the formalities that really brought me to choose and explore the microwave oven by Do Ho Suh is beyond the amazing details and the visual immersion, but in order to answer the question, why and what does this object represent to the artist? Well, in order to begin that question, we must understand the background of the artist. The artist Do Ho Suh, who was born in Seoul, South Korea, attended the Seoul National University, where he got both his BFA and MFA in Oriental painting. He also attended the Rhode Island School of Design, as well as the Yale. His traveling over countries is very important, as he believes that every place that he's lived is very specifically individualized. Wanting to create that feeling of enabling a viewer to experience his environment, Do Ho Suh understood that the size of his artwork changed the way people observed and interacted with it, and he created them at such a realistic size so that a viewer could walk through and visualize the objects in space as if they were their own objects in their own living space. He takes life as a view of the many experiences we have, emphasizing that individual moments and places matter. Here on the left is pictured a staircase from one of his apartments in New York, which happened to be pink. We notice from the picture that the stairwell is in fact life-sized, and you can even imagine stepping your foot onto those stairs. Overall, Do Ho Suh is most known for his various representations of real sights in the form of immersive spaces and objects that test and challenge the way you visualize and occupy a space. His work ranges from objects to architecture, from places he's lived in, from New York to Seoul, South Korea. More importantly, the meaning his artwork expresses draws attention to minute details and the specificity of an object's environment, mood, color, or use. From these expressive meanings, we can connect the attention of symbolic structures and objects to Autumn Colors by Zhao Mengfu in 1925, which uses the entity of mountains as a symbolic structure. Similar to the features in Do Ho Suh's artwork, Zhao Mengfu's symbolization is seemingly out of place. In Do Ho Suh's exhibit, the viewer is able to gain an understanding of the represented space without even having to be in that real location that he pictures. Zhao Mengfu's depiction similarly of the mountains, although out of place as is covered by plains instead of rocky landscape, gives us a visual representation of the mountains in which he pictured for his friend Zhao Mi, who he painted the scroll for. Although the two artists were able to represent an environment for the viewer, their mediums and purposes are very different. Do Ho Suh, who expresses the individual over the group, created a three-dimensional immersive object, whereas Zhao Mengfu painted onto a hand scroll, using his own interpretation of the landscape, in order to share his view with the master who hasn't visited the mountains. Through full exploration of the microwave oven by Do Ho Suh, I began to picture the object within a space of inhabitants already. I pictured this augmented reality where the microwave stands out on the counter in comparison to the dimmed out appliances in the background, not excluding the other appliances, but just focusing on one at a time in such comparison of the real object to the artwork. I feel like the item is much more stylistically individualized. Just like the viewers in his exhibits, I could feel the space. I wanted to touch the microwave and open it. The object itself draws me into this imagination where I just get home from practice, working out, or just a long day at school, and head to the microwave for a quick meal. I can feel my hand sinking into the numbered buttons. I can sense the feeling of time on the screen. I can smell the food being cooked as the odor seeps out the vent. Overall, the microwave oven by Zhao Mengfu really creates an immersive space that makes the observer visualize as if they were actually there.